Alright, our final form is standard form of a line. And in standard form, you have the x and y variables on the same side of the equation. And then you'll have any other part on the other side called c. Typically when you have standard form, the a and b part can't be decimal or fraction. So as an example, 2x minus 3y equals 8, that would be standard form. But if you have something like 1/2 x minus 2y equals 4, you don't typically leave it this way because you can't have a fraction here. And so what we'll find here is you have to get rid of the fraction somehow. And if you look at the denominator, this is like a divide 2. So we'll end up taking the whole equation times 2. And then it cancels out with this divide 2, giving us just 1x. And then everything is times 2, so it's 4y and 8. Okay, so standard form has to have, like this bottom example here, has to have no decimals and no fractions in it. So if you want to copy down standard form quick, you could pause the video. Okay, so the homework questions will say put it in standard form. Currently y and x are not on the same side of the equal sign, so we can do an algebra step here, namely minus 2/5 x from both sides. So we have y minus 2/5 x, and then we just have negative 3 left on the right hand side. And I'm just going to switch this around a little bit. Since x usually comes first in standard form, I'm going to put the minus 2/5 x first and the positive y second. Alright, and this is close to being standard form, except that we have a fraction here. And so much like we were talking about just a second ago, look at the denominator is 5. Fraction means divide, so this is like a 2 divided by 5. So if we take it times 5 to both sides, or basically everything times 5, then this divide 5 cancels out, and we have minus 2x. Alright, that's kind of the most confusing part, but if you wanted to write out the full steps, I'm taking 5 times negative 2/5, and you multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then that just reduces to negative 2. Okay, so the quick way is just to say it's going to cancel out. The times and divide 5 cancel out, and we get negative 2x. 5y, when you take it times 5, and then the minus 3 is now minus 15 because everything got multiplied by 5. Okay, and that's it. That is standard form, x and y on the same side with no decimals or fractions. Okay, so here's one for you to try. So try this in your notes and then select the answer that you think is right. Alright, I'm going to blast through this example for you. We have it currently, this is slope-intercept form, but we want standard form where x and y are on the same side and we have no fractions and no decimals. To get x and y on the same side, I'm just going to add half x. Okay, I'm going to write it in the sort of normal order where x is first. We have positive half x, positive y, and then just 11 on the other side. Okay, get rid of the fraction part now. This is a divide 2. A fraction again means divide. So we look at the denominator and we say we're going to take everything times 2 to wipe out that denominator. So when we distribute it times 2, this just becomes 1x. The divide 2 is gone. We have 2y and then 22. So hopefully we got 1x plus 2y equals 22. Please note that if you're in homework, if you get this thing where the signs are all reversed, if you get minus 1x, minus 2y, and minus 22, that is really the same answer as this original one. So if all the signs are flipped, it's really still the same answer. It's just kind of depending on how you do your steps. You might get answers where the signs are all flipped. Okay, that is all we got. The 3 different forms, so hopefully we know we got the 3 different forms here, and homework will mix in some of them, all the different types. And so here you go, here's the homework. The last 3 ones here are just the standard form questions. And just one real quick tip on the homework, number 25, you have to put this in standard form, so you'll have to get x and y on the same side. But you'll also have to get rid of the decimals, and this is something that we didn't cover in the lesson. But to make these so that they're no longer decimals, A good trick is if you have a single number to the right of the decimal point, if you multiply by 10, it would look like this. So just move the decimal over 1 and over 1. And so doing so, we no longer have decimals in that question. Okay, so to get that to standard form, you got to cancel out decimals, and a trick is you got to times 10. And then I think there's one more step here to get it to standard form, but I'll leave that to you in the homework. Good luck.